Hey guys, I am working on seeing if there might be a way I can temporarily clamp this phone to my work light, which will make it easier for you guys to see what's going on and not too bad for me to see what you guys are saying. But I am going to be pretty busy on this, so I'm not going to be able to see and respond to every message by any means. I'm going to see if I can make this work, because this will be pretty dang nice. I think it might work. Trying to get the phone attached to the light with that. Yeah, I've resisted it for many years, and here I am about to do it, I guess. Man. All right, the phone may fall, but I'm working on that. Just got to find one more thing. Well, I guess we're going to take a chance. That's all we can do. Just going to take the chance. All right, so basically, not quite removing it just yet. We got a lot of work to do to get to that point. All right, now I'm going to make this thing safer because there's a hazard. I don't need a hazard. Oh, there she goes, already trying to fall. Don't you love it? All right. Let's hope I don't break my phone by over tightening this. Oh man, I don't know. I know the water's drained, but beyond that, I have no idea. I haven't done this in so long. I've got to really actually think about it. The battery's disconnected. Headers are off. Got to get the intake off of it. I guess I'll tear out the accessories, go ahead and get the radiator out to make life easier. So I'm just going to work on it and do a live feed, because why the hell not? I got a lot of making up to do for the last year that I've been off of YouTube. Oh Lordy, that is funny right there. All right, let me get this door shut. Unfortunately, due to the warm weather that we've had lately, let's see, the yellow flies have started showing up already. And if they are not a problem, the mosquitoes definitely are with the rain we've been getting. So over there. Okay. So 14. It's already loose. How about that? The only problem with this setup is I'm probably going to have to move this light around some, and it's going to be very annoying to those of you that are around, which right now it looks like there's nobody around, so that's even better. All right, so basically, I'm probably not going to live stream this whole thing because it's going to take a good while to get this thing out, but I just thought it'd be a fun little thing to do. So the LS is already out of the truck. That's why the truck is gone. It was in here earlier. Got it out, and I would really like to have that thing in this car tonight, just sitting in it. That would be a really good thing to post to Facebook. Trying to decide on what I'm going to do about injectors, cam, all that sort of thing. On one hand, it's really easy to change all that on an LS, so you know, maybe just decap the stock injectors. But we got to think about goals. And as far as goals are concerned, my goal I have a wrench for this special, and I don't know where it went. It's no longer, maybe it's hiding in the car somewhere, but it's not in the shop anywhere. I haven't seen it in a couple of years. As far as goals, I mean, any job worth doing is worth doing right, as I use the monkey wrench. And I don't see a reason to shoot for less than 800 to 900 horsepower on the crank. Definitely need to exceed my 603. After all this trouble, I will not be content with making 600 horsepower to the wheels. Then they're done that with a stock TPI intake. So I'm looking at some of the guys on YouTube that are, you know, been out there making unbelievable numbers, going, that's what I want to do. And I'm talking about with, you know, very stockish engine. There's one approach I've always wanted to do, and that is high RPM. And since I'm kind of, I guess you could say, stuck with the 4.8 for now, especially now that these engines are not as cheap as they were, so it's not like you can just go grab a few $100 engine anywhere. So I'm stuck with the 4.8. The 4.8s seem to do really well with high RPM, so I'm looking at doing something that's going to really turn up and not so much torque. And that might be a problem because I've been used to torque. I actually kind of missed the torque that I had with the TPI setup a lot when I went to this setup, but the idea was that the top end should have really made a difference. It's just we never got there because every time that we come into boost, it would have a nasty backfire, and that was the end of everything. All right, one brand new ball bearing PT76, whatever, I don't even know. I don't remember. And the question is, do I put that on there, or do I put the, just checking chat here, okay. Do I put the twins? I've got these 57s over here. I'm really actually thinking about having fun with this. I've already got the battery tray cut out on this side, and I've got a decent hole on this side. So I'm almost thinking, you know, why not just stuff those turbos over here and just do fender dumps, you know, not through the fender because I'm not going to ruin the car, but maybe just turn down under it. And I don't know, that may be too loud though. I'm all about being able to street it, but it is something I've considered, you know, maybe a little, some sort of a short muffler on there could be serviceable. So lots of things to think about. Air to air, air to water, I don't know. Really depends. All right, well, this is not going to be the most fun in the world. And I'm going to tell you another reason I'm probably going to cut you guys off sooner than later is no music sucks. Thank you very much, YouTube. It's all about you, YouTube, and not about us. Or in this case, all about the money-hungry corporations, I suppose. Man, this is going to be a job, I'm going to tell you. A lot going on under here, this old car. doesn't make it any easier that the light's over there. And I kind of don't want to put it any closer, because then I got to keep moving it for you to see what's going on. Yeah, I thought about a lot of different things. I even thought about, as you guys know, I'm not the happiest person in the world with this setup. And I briefly considered a blow-up video, but then I thought, you know, there's no guarantee I'm going to be happy with all things LS. I'm sure I will be, though. But kind of got a good starting point here. If I wanted to stay with Gen 1, it's really just a matter of kind of redoing everything and seeing what's wrong, you know. Something is wrong, we know that. So I guess the idea would be what's wrong and fix what's wrong. That would be the plan. I don't want to deal with this radiator, I guess. I've got a new radiator for this car, so I really need to leave it in here. Whoa, fan bolts loose. What? How about that? Oh, that's not even a fan bolt anyway. But I still do have a loose bolt here, which is not cool. I don't do loose bolts. Alright, that'll have to work. I have aftermarket fans in here, so I actually don't remember exactly how I attach the fans, so I'm going to figure that part out. It's been quite a while, actually. Not because it's been reliable, but simply because I have not been using this car. It's been sitting for 3 years now. It's hard to believe. Yay, I get to figure out radiator hose connections again. Once was just about enough. Once this year, I should say. I have no idea how I attach these, I guess. I can't wait to find out how I did something, because I don't know. Man, that sucker's got a bite on there. It's kind of a hard one to get to. I need to hook up the charger to this thing too. All right, this is getting complicated, guys. I got to put a charger on the phone. and not forget about it when I go to move things. Hey, Michael. Hey, Dave the Fixer. Welcome, Michael. Or is that Mikhail? Either way, welcome to the feed. Yeah, I thought, maybe Saturday's a better day to do it. My schedule is what it is. So sometimes I'm free in unusual times, and a lot of times the weekends are not when I'm working on my car stuff so much. I got a problem right now. I've got the 49 project, which is drivable. It's at my house, actually, in town. And then I've got this project going. And I've got the engine pull from the S10. So I just cleared out a bunch of S10 parts, but I've got the 4.8 parts over here, made a bunch of room, moved the 49 stuff over there. And now I'm starting to share space with the Gen 1. So it's going to be a jumbled mess here for a bit, but we'll get it figured out. So what we do, and we'll get this out of the way. But yeah, it was time on the LS. I mean, and you got to think, I know that there are other factors involved, such as not only does it make more sense from a financial standpoint and really performance-wise, yes, you can spend the bucks to make a Gen 1 do it. This is done 603 to the wheels. And actually that was with stock parts, really, if you think about it, just the L98 aluminum heads and the TPI intake. And just very mild porting, it probably would have done similar performance to the 4.8 or even better if you really tried. But that engine is very tired. It needs to be gone through. I built it as a low compression engine because at the time that I was doing that, some differences in the way we think of turbo cars from the way we think of them now. And so going back, I would have done higher compression. So I got these $700 SRP forged pistons, and the compression ratio is barely over 8-to-1. So yeah, the new stuff 10-to-1 all day long, 9.5, 10, 10.5. So it's whoa now. Why is there so much water in this dang hose? Well, that sucks. Where can I put that water? Just a little bit that didn't make it out of the deal when I drained it. I guess I'll just let it roll. It's sitting on top of the thermostat. All right, let me check the chat real quick. Oh, good. You guys aren't saying much. That means I don't have to keep checking. Man, oh man, oh man. How did I mount these fans? Interesting. But anyway, the point is I would have had to spend a good bit of money on the Gen 1, especially if I was going to start making power. I mean, it just has basically LT1 rods in it, just PM, plain old PM rods, which are not exactly, known for mega power. I mean, they can do pretty good, but they're definitely being asked to do more than they probably should. So, spending money on rods, and the crank's just a 1053. I mean, it's a good crank, but it's not like an aftermarket 4340 or whatever. And I don't know. I mean, is the LS crank comparable to, to what? I mean, they're very well engineered, and certainly the caps are amazing compared to Gen 1. So you start spending money on splayed main stuff. I mean, it gets out of hand very quickly. Wow, this is pretty funny. Pretty dang funny. unplug that. So yeah, it wasn't quite as simple as just keeping this engine and making it work. There were a lot of things going on there where it was getting ready to freshen it up, and so I had to weigh that money. And it's just such a hateful thing when you're doing fuel injection with a Gen 1 and you want to do a crank trigger and sequential. I spent a lot of money in this intake. There's just a lot of other things I had to do. And then I got this external trigger that is constantly on my mind about, is it adjusted right? Has it moved? What if something gets into it? If it comes loose, it's going to get right into the belts, and that's going to be a disaster. So, yeah, I won't miss that stuff at all. I won't be missing it. I don't think I will. And the least important factor to me is what people think at the cruise in, but even so, when I had the TPI, it didn't matter that I knew what it would do. People would just walk up and shake their head and go, "Oh, TPI, haha," and they had lost interest in the car immediately. That happened more than one time. And, you know, it kind of sucks. You go to an event, you want to talk to people. Now, a lot of people did really like that, but it was pretty surprising the number of people that just automatically wrote it off. Man, this thing acts like it's full of water, and I sat here and drained it overnight. I guess it's just on top of the thermostat, though. Yeah, and there goes my light. All right, I'm gonna check the chat just because I'm here. Yeah, I did think about doing that with the S10. I don't have an interest in it myself, but I thought, you know, it'd be maybe a way of getting rid of all that stuff and getting a little bit more money out of it. I've got I've got 3 turbo kits for Gen 1 now. I've got the STR, brand new STR manifolds. Those might fit. The original IROC setup, though, is probably what I would put on there because, you know, it makes decent power, 500 plus foot-pounds of torque. It's almost worthless. It's hard to work on, but if I threw that on that engine, I've even got I've got 2 TPI setups over here. We've got a polished and an unpolished one. So that's an option. And just put all that together, put the Mega Squirt on it. But then it's a lot of work. And, you know, the question comes down to how much work, how much money, because time is money. I don't have as much as I wish. I have actually been feeling a little bit better here in the last couple of weeks, but I've also, like today, have not felt as good. I've had issues. It's kind of hit or miss from one day to the next, whether I'm hurting or not. And so I don't like wasting my time. And so my time is worth a lot of money if I'm doing something. If I'm really, you know, the old metrics. Time is more important to me than money. So it takes a lot of money to get my time, I guess is the way of putting it. Oh, that's going to be a 14, I guess. Yeah, it's funny, I've never done anything with an LS as much as I've been into car stuff over the years. It's Pretty ironic in a way that I know nothing really about one. I find it kind of ironic. Oh yeah, I forgot about that cool little thing. This bracket, it supports the T4 flange, and it bolts on here to the alternator. And then to make life much easier, I built a pin bracket on the bottom. So what you do is you actually just slide this in over the pin and then roll it up to the alternator and bolt it on. So there you go. I don't think I've ever taken it off, but I must have planned to, or I wouldn't have built it so fancily. But anyway, it's made life easier. So I guess it was worth the time that I put into making it. Now we're down to some transmission hoses. Find the second one. I don't know if I want to do this the easy way or the hard way. I don't know how I want to do this one. Yeah, we're going to do it the easy way. That has been a trouble-free fitting right there. It has never once given me a problem just from the time that I put it on. And it wasn't even jammed on there all that tight, but good quality one, I reckon. All right, we're down to not very much. Apparently, the way that this fan is set up, it's like I said, it's like a Dodge Intrepid fan, and or dual fan setup. Apparently, it just sits here. It's pretty bad. It's like, who built this car? Reading your guys' chats here. Ah, cool, Sweden. Yeah, as far as my health condition, I have an inflammatory disease, I guess you could say, which is something along the lines of rheumatoid arthritis, or they don't even know. And that's what's really bothering me, is that all the things that they try to give you, they want you to take, they're basically similar to chemo. And some of the drugs are the same as chemo, just not as much of a dose. So it's like they're more or less killing you with them, but they're trying to get the thing under control. But the funny thing is, if you do a lot of research on inflammatory conditions, they didn't really exist and still don't exist in some areas. But one of the worst areas of the world is in the United States. And there are a lot of different reasons for that. But I have found that through diet, which, by the way, I'm actually down to 189. I haven't been that light in 20 years. And I have felt a little bit better each day. I'm losing about half a pound every day, or every 2 or 3 days, half pound at least, just by eating keto, staying away from the carbs, eating all natural stuff. I won't touch sugar. All the. I have cheated though. I do a pizza, a regular pizza, about once a week. I love this Thai place up the road. I do Thai, so I'll have some rice. I usually have rice a couple times a week, but I will stay away from grains and wheat, and especially corn. Of course, high fructose corn syrup. I'll do a little bit of sugar, especially if it's in a fruit. But I actually bought some what was that stuff? Some kind of a jam. The only one we could find in town that was blackberry, and it's sweetened with HFCS, which unfortunately, when I want toast, and the toast that I have is based on flaxseed, so it's expensive and it's got seeds in it, and it's not bad. If you can't have bread and then you have some type of bread, it's pretty damn good bread. But if you had a lineup of different types of bread, probably be the last one you'd eat. But anyway, staying away from that it really has. I mean, it's seriously about to cut me a wire because I don't want to even worry about disconnecting it. It's really made a difference. Not a cure though, not a cure, but I've been over here working on this many times this year, and I was at a point where I couldn't do anything last year, so. Man, how am I going to get that fan out of there? Maybe after the radiator? Very interesting. I'm actually trying to figure out how I got this lower cooling line on here for transmission. And I don't know. I do not know how I did it. Check in the chat. Get your chats in. Well, when the time comes, you'll know. It's funny though, some cars you regret when you sell and other cars you don't miss at all. I have not missed my GTRs, and I love those cars. I mean, they were, well, the second one, that might be a little bit of a different story. That second one was kind of a bad deal from the get-go for me. And I walked from it, and I shouldn't have gone back, and I did. And that car just didn't work out so well for me. And interestingly, the guy that bought that car, who I told everything that I had done to it and dealt with and repaired, he knew what he was getting into. And he ended up having one of the control arms broke off the car while he was cornering. And they were aftermarket. I can't remember the brand. He did not wreck. So I don't know if it snapped off or it just broke, like a weld broke. But they were a good brand. I mean, there was nothing in that car that was a junk brand. But it was more along the lines of how well the work went. And I feel bad for him because, you know, I don't like anybody buying something for me that has a problem. And I try to be very honest about what I know about everything. And I took a loss on that car. More antifreeze going to the floor. Actually, we can catch this one, I think. Well, maybe not. this lower hose is just playing hardball with us today. All right, yay. Finally. That's a mess because there's some oil left in this damn pan. Man, what a job. I keep saying that about everything I'm doing on this thing. Those fans did work good though. Dodge Intrepid fans are pretty dang decent. May even put them back on, but I think I've got a Spall fan set up on the... I gotta adjust the air conditioning. It's a little bit warm in here. I don't think I can do sourdough bread. If it's made with any kind of wheat, if it has any gluten in it, whatever, I don't touch it. I stick with flaxseed bread or flaxseed flour, a couple of different flours like that. Basically anything that's good on keto. Oh, DOD, yeah, that'll be fun. I've heard about doing those. Yeah, and James, I've got full Dominator. I even have the 4L80 harness laying over here, brand new. So, and I have a 9-inch over here, and I've got a, let's see, a brand new, not brand new, a used drive shaft that certified the 1400 horsepower with a 4L80, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know my car stuff anymore, but I have the drive shaft to connect that 9-inch to the back of a 4L80. And I'm hoping it's all going to just line up perfect and work. It's supposed to, but we'll see what happens. Oh man, the lower transmission cooling line. Oh, that's really strange. The lower cooling line. That is very strange. The lower one's still hooked up, traditional method. The upper one has been replaced with a nice fitting with a rubber hose that converts to the original fitting and just slipped on it. I don't think I did that. I think that might be someone else's doing. Smart. I'd probably put the lift up and get under there and do this. Killing me, guys. No music. No freaking music. Oh, we're going to lose transmission fluid. We'll get ready for it. And these third gens, they have this, the tray the radiator sits on, instead of having a nice molded channel for all the spilled fluids to run into and go to one central point, instead they have stiffening stamps all over the place and holes, and it just leaks out all over the place. Not cool. Now what has got it? What's holding this in? That's interesting. There's a fan, one of those radiator fan zip tie things, right in the very center. No idea why. Only one, and only in the very center. That's going to be fun. That was the plan, though. I need some long something. Sawzall? Man, that's a mighty complicated way of doing it. All right, now we do have a little bit of slack on it. Maybe I can just pull it out of ways and cut it with these dikes. Phone call. All right, hang on a minute, guys. I'll be right back. Yeah, Dominator will run a GM transmission. I think it'll run most of them, but it's buy the right harness for it and set it up in there. But that's why I got it, because I was going to do this one day. About to forget what I'm working on because the phone call interrupted me. I'm trying to think of creative ways. Maybe a lighter? This is not going to do it. I have no idea why there would even be one of those in the very center of the radiator. That's just got me kind of baffled right now. It seems something like a prank. They put it right in dead center where you can't get to it. I don't know. Unbelievable. Huh. Well, now now I know what I did. See, it's been years. Apparently, for me, it probably wasn't a bad idea. The radiator transmission cooling element was not sufficient to take out all the heat. That was my thought, apparently. So I've also got an air to transmission fluid cooler, and they're hooked up sequentially to each other. Well, unfortunately, that cooler is on the outside of the AC condenser, not on the radiator direct. So I've got to figure out how I'm going to cancel that, because I've also got an intercooler in front of that, so I can't, without removing the intercooler, I can't get to it. Shoot. Anybody got any ideas? So just snap it. Yeah, I'm real curious about the 480 myself. I understand that they fit because the drive shaft I have was 4.1, but man, I hope there's no modifications required to the floor. That would not be fun. Man, this is unfortunate. I guess snapping is my only choice. Well, I was able to get enough on it that I can get my hand in here now. Here she goes. That was not a great idea. That was not the greatest moment of ideas. Radiator is out. All right, let me check here. I think I may have a text. Nope, good. Man, the air conditioning feels so good now. I don't know why it's 66 in the shop or 67, and I guess because I'm doing this, I had to cool down, so I just turned it down to 63. Yeah, and I'm not sure. See, I've got this stock 4L60 that came out of the S10, and what I may end up doing is getting this thing driving on that NA first while I piece together everything else that I need, work out all the bugs that way, and then I don't expect that to handle the turbo for any length of time, and hopefully by then I'll have the 4L60 figured out, or I'm sorry, the 4L80 figured out. Yeah, we're almost down to a stock engine. I can throw some headers on it and drive it. Oh man, what have I got myself into here? I really hate the way the chat fades off on the phone. It's kind of hard to see what's going on there. Probably going to be 12, 13. Oh, there. about to do something I never thought I would do on this car, and that is completely remove all the AC stuff, the lines at least, because I'll have to make new lines up for the LS anyway, and these will just be in our way. Bye bye pancake compressor, you served me well for 14 years. '2008 date code on it. And it was still working until the turbo cooked out the O-rings. That was a fun day. Nothing like having an apparent fire under your hood. Okay. Might as well, I'll get this bad boy from here too. The reason I use this adjustable wrench so much, I don't have any big wrenches, I never have. Interesting. I do have a few actually, but not an official set that's indexed and has every size that I need. Just a few random 1 inch and in that area. And yes, this car will have air conditioning if I keep it, so it may not have it for a little bit till it proves itself to me again. But once it does, it will absolutely receive air conditioning. If it can't handle that, then it has to go. Man, scratch up my condenser. Man, they are partying down the road. I'm hearing the trucks they must be getting ready to have a good time tonight. They're all out there revving up and cutting up the dirt road. Alrighty, I suppose I can get the accessories off next. It won't be too far. Get this intake off and start working on the transmission. We could have this bad boy out here tonight. I'm not aiming on being here very late though. As a matter of fact, I got about another hour and a half where I'm probably going to be rolling out of here. I don't know if we can get this bad boy out here that quick. We can try, but I don't think it's going to happen. Some of my neighbors kind of they're a ways from here, but I mentioned on the other day on my video, these guys are running around, they're tearing up these roads, and my road is a public road, but behind me is a private type road. So they have to do their own maintenance, and these people come out and start tearing up the roads and doing donuts, and they're not happy with them right now. So I have a feeling the police are probably in the area. I probably didn't understand that so well when I was younger, but once you start owning a number of properties, you start learning. What a pain in the butt it is to have everything around you messed up all the time. We have a four-wheeler community around here you wouldn't believe. They run the roads 7 days a week. I guess, I don't know, maybe you don't have to have jobs anymore or something, because I don't really understand how they can spend so much time playing. Adults too. I'm not talking about, a bunch of kids either. I guess some of those checks that have been coming out have made some people's lives pretty comfy. Now that sounds like an airplane. Like propeller and everything. Maybe an airboat, I don't know, that's strange. I was definitely a big fan on something with some power. Alright, that's a 14. Oh man, almost dropped her. Oh, not good. This is probably about the most boring live feed some of you people have looked at. Man, I used to do this all the time. I knew all these bolts. I could do this with my eyes shut. I remember every bolt, every bracket. And now I'm just like, man, what is that? How does that come off? It's been a while. It's coming back to me though. With any luck, well, I'll take that back. Maybe this stuff will end up in the S10. So I guess I can't say that with any luck I will not have to ever touch this stuff again, because maybe I will. What would be ironic is if I did all that and then really started liking the S10. Man, now I got to re-LS swap it. Now I sat in the S10. It's not a comfortable vehicle for me. I gotta have the ability to recline. Now somebody, I gotta go outside. I'll be back in a second, guys. Yeah. Somebody's got an air boot. That's what that is. That's cool. Yeah, somebody's definitely got an airboat over there. That's another thing I've always wanted. And it was actually, there's a chance the old engine could end up in something like that, you know, a boat or something would be cool. Turbocharged, of course. Because there is no other way to do anything besides turbocharging it. That's how I see it. I've had many, many battles because of turbos, but I still love them. Man, but I wouldn't give her some music right now. Maybe I could play some YouTube music. Some of your canned, you know, music you're allowed to play stuff. Pretty freaking pathetic, if you ask me. Probably should have taken this bolt out first. All right, one AC compressor. We're getting there. Really? I just took off the fifth, whatever the hell it was, went to the next size down, and it's the other size up. Wonderful. This kind of aggravates me a little bit. The way they routed this wiring harness through this hole did not help things very much. The only problem with having somebody do stuff for you like this, they make decisions that you might not like. But anyway, easy enough to deal with, I guess. So to add to the fun up here, I don't live up here anymore, so it doesn't matter to me, but you got all these four-wheelers running around, and they're half of them have no mufflers, and they're wide open. You got all these yeet trucks going around with their straight pipes and stuff. You know, kind of like a country bumpkin kind of area up here. And now you got this guy with the airboat back here that apparently just revs it up a lot. I think it's cool, but it could get annoying if I was living here and didn't feel like hearing it at that moment. Start cutting zip ties. Oh, they must have changed the plug on that timing, crank timing sensor. I think that's the LS plug. Now, let's see, I guess I gotta take this out. There's always the fun part on these old Gen 1s is your power steering pump, because it was always in the way. You always have to kind of dangle it somewhere. Work careful. It either end up trying to go to your radiator, or it would hang down and leak all the fluid out. Get the little deep well out. And that's going to be a 15, 14. Okay. It's a shame it's only there's not many miles on this setup. It's really quite maddening when you think about it. All the work I went through to put this in a few years back, and now it's coming out never to be run again, most likely by me. And I didn't want to think about what I have into this money-wise. Enough anyway. I mean, that's $1,000-ish or more, and then a couple thousand on these heads. Spent $3,000 having somebody wire the Holley, install the Holley system for me, because I didn't have time, and I wasn't feeling good enough to do it myself. So I think I ended up spending somewhere around $7,000 or $8,000 on this iteration of the engine, and that wasn't touching inside the engine at all. And since spending all that money and having them do that, I've driven the car 2 or 3 times. 2 or 3 times. I took off thinking I was going to go make a nice little drive up to Alabama, about a 2-hour round trip, doing some tuning, and I came back with the mega backfire and blowing out the exhaust cutout and the O2 sensor, and that was the last time I really went anywhere. That's pretty sad, man. I actually kind of tuned that out and haven't really thought about that in quite a long time, but there's my adapter. So I've got little adapters on here. Which adapt, oddly enough, back to LS from L98, because actually I think I'm going to have to buy I think I bought a Gen 1 harness for the upper section that goes to the injectors and all. I'll have to look back and see what I've got here. I may actually need to buy some things to make this work on the LS. Yes, that is the world's most annoying dog next door. He's lived there since the day I moved in. He barks incessantly if you're outside and he sees you, he barks and nobody stops him. And it sucks. Always something waiting for your knuckle, isn't there? Dang, that freaking hurt. I ain't gonna lie to you. Oh, it was going to be so easy to change injectors, and I never got to change them because here we are, like I said, very few miles later, tearing it all apart forever. We're going to win this battle. We're going to win the war. We might have lost this battle. We're going to win the war. We are going to win it. I don't know what that wind looks like. I don't even know what I want out of this car anymore, but it's gonna do something. Put that in a worse spot. Gasoline draining out of the rails. Start with a napkin. One, and I have two separate fuel feeds. Where did I put that wrench? Excuse me, people. Gas fumes, love them. All right, I've got to check the weather because I need to make a decision if I'm going to go take the 49 out tonight or not. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back for the moment. Nope, I can't get to that way. What was I thinking? What are you guys out there doing today? Just chilling? Working on any projects? Doing what I do, which is get on YouTube for motivation and ideas. I definitely like to get on YouTube and look at similar things to what I'm going to do, because it definitely is motivating to see somebody else getting something like that done and it's working, and it's sometimes it might lead you to have higher hopes of what you're going to end up with than what you get, but at least it gets you moving. That may be the last time I ever have to use a distributor wrench. This is the last distributor I own. Where won't she go? Yeah, this was a real honest effort to make a badass Gen 1, and luck this was not on my side for this one. But there's some nice stuff here. Some good hardware. This ProFlow intake's pretty dang sweet. Man, that is not easy to get to this bolt with this thing though. I don't know why. I've loosened the bolt and the little bracket that holds the distributor down has moved, but it's still catching on the damn thing. Come out of there. Wonderful. I have no angle, no access. What was that? That would be another wire plugged in that I didn't unplug. All right, that makes it a little bit better. Holy mackerel, it's not easy to get to it. There we go. Get a little pancake. That didn't sound good. Sounds like I might have lost a tool. I'm not sure.
S10s have better looking days. Oh shit. Oh,
All right. Getting it though. I'm like down to probably the last little bit. Pop the intake off and be ready to take the transmission out. So let's see who's here. Nobody's really saying much right now. It's been pretty quiet. Got 3 people watching, maybe. You never know at YouTube. I'm getting there. I was just looking at the weather. What's it like? Is it getting sunny?
mm-hmm.
Oh, good. It's warming up. It's actually up to 63 now. It was 59 when I got here. I was going to go out at night with the car unless it's going to be decent.
That looks good in there.
I'd love to get the I'd love to have this engine out of here tonight, but I want to leave here by, let's see, what time is it? 4:30. I want to leave here probably within an hour. So it'd be a tall order to get this thing out of here, not quick, but not too far. See, the problem is that I have them do this harness, so I don't know where some of the stuff even goes. I didn't do this part of it. I had someone else do this, and now I'm having to play the guessing game on some of it. Probably have to take that off. This looks like the crossover harness. I think that's not going to come out. Hopefully they didn't tie that together. They're supposed to keep it all separate for me. Do you see any damage?
Yeah, I took some pictures for you.
There's another road that was...
Like, you wouldn't know it, though. The road looked totally fine until you get like right there, and there's like 6 or 7 houses that are.
I heard something fall. That must have been the 14, unless that's it. Yeah, the 14 must have went away. So I got to do a tool cleanup. Don't really need all these tools here now. Put everything back in its place real quick.
Okay,
I'll be heading to town in about an hour. I'm starting to get hungry already. So, I don't know. We could do Tally Hill, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. All right, babe.
See you later. All right, well, since I lost a wrench, I'm gonna put all my tools back where they belong. And then we'll start on the next part of this, but I'm gonna try to wrap it up in about 30 to 40 minutes. Maybe we can be ready to work on the transmission next time I come out. I was actually thinking about staying here and doing the whole job tonight, but looks like the weather is getting better. So if the weather's better, we're going to take the 49 out for a good time. I knew I heard a wrench go away. Yep, there it is, the old 14, right where I thought it would be. Lord knows I've worked on enough 3rd gens to know exactly where the tools hide. I could even locate 10. All right, now, what was I looking for a 14 for is the question. Heck, I don't even remember. I'll look for that plug later, wonder where the heck it's at, probably. Yeah. This feels like a big ground, but I have no idea where it could possibly be going to. That's going to be the O2 wire. It's zip tied on down below. All right, well, that makes sense then. I've got one heater hose to disconnect, and the other is going to stay. This heater hose does not feel in very good condition. I think it's gotten exposed to oil over the years, and it feels like some of the birds are rupturing. It's a problem with an old build that's been sitting around, and you get it running, and then you start having other problems you didn't expect. All right, that's free oil, turbo oil feed. Actually, that's going to be an SE. That could just stay, I guess. I think it would be wise to remove the sender, since Hollylight is very proud of the pricing of their sensors. I don't want to risk damaging it. This may not be a good situation. Don't know if I've got a wrench that will fit that. And it really is not enough room for this thing. It might be a 3/4. It's bigger than that. Yeah. Probably a 1. Nope. 15/16. Maybe a metric. I don't think I've got a metric anywhere near big enough for that though. Dang it. Good. We got movement. Come on. Very good. We surely don't want to break anything Holly. Gonna avoid it. Man, I have nothing in chat coming up, so I don't know if you guys are saying anything. If you are, I'm definitely not getting it. So hopefully you're just watching and not saying something and I don't want to miss anything. Really kind of hate to see this old setup come off of here in a way. So much work and unrealized hope of success. Kind of lame in a way. This is kind of a walk of shame in a way. Can't win them all. we've got to free up is the O2 sensor harness, and then we can pretty much pull the whole Holly harness back. And we probably need to free up the 700 cable. And we're going to have battery connections, and so we're getting pretty much ready to go underneath and start working down there. What am I forgetting? Flashlight. That's about it. The only time I've been involved in tuning somebody else's car in recent years was a guy with a turbo LS and HP tuners at a dyno session, and we had it doing all right, but he wanted more, so he went and started playing around with timing. They turned the boost up, did a bunch of different things to it, and ended up blowing it up, you know, like a day or two later. And I'm pretty sure that I caught some of the blame for that. But I was very conservative, you know, like 10-9 on the air fuel at boost, and they just, you can't go changing everything and then expect it to work right. So I've kind of been a little bit leery of doing it. I've never blown anything up. I mean, my car's never blown up, so I'm not saying I'm the best tuner in the world by any stretch of the word, but I haven't blown anything up. And I've pushed this and another car pretty hard. I don't know how these tuners do it, how they get away with dealing with things like that. In the GTR world, they lock down the tunes and you can't even look at them. I don't blame them. This didn't do much good, did it? Man. Dang pump or something. Oh yeah, we got the NOx sensor too. I didn't think about that. Into the battery cable, we can free up the O2 sensor. We need to take a look at that O2 sensor, don't we? See what the heck happened to it. Oops, sorry guys. We got O2 sensor cable. The harness is zip tied to the transmission cooling line, which would make removal from above pretty hard. And we've got the knock sensor, which is zip tied battery cable twice. And we've got some kind of, I think the Holly, if I remember right, Holly requires a direct connection to your battery cable. I think that's what that's probably there for. Okay, with that, it's all factory stuff. Come loose. Disconnect starter. Carefully walking through this water with my very, very slippery shoes. I believe that's going to be a 13, and yeah, it looks bigger than a 13, but we'll try a 13, maybe a 14. We also need to disconnect the start wire, which is going to be something else. I really wish I wasn't standing in coolant right now. Well, we got a 14. Let's just see what happens. Will it even clear? Nope. Yep, 14 will work. It's been the strangest experience to have something that I built, to have somebody do a little bit of the work on it, and then, you know, looking at it going, where does this go? That's just not what I'm used to. All right, so there's your main power feed for everything. That's off. Battery cable to the back. Power to the car, power to the part of the Holly, and one more wire to the start. One more. Wow, you guys are in my way. I guessed it right. It's kind of hard to do this with the camera sitting here. I would probably just take wire cutters to half the stuff if I thought there was no chance that I would ever go Gen 1 again, but it actually is a possibility that this car will go back to Gen 1. I'm a bit of a purist in that way. Although, says the guy that puts an 08 engine in his 49. So, probably won't ever happen, but it's fun to say it anyway. All right, dipstick. Oh my goodness. Surely that's it. Nope, stupid me. I don't know how I grabbed it off of the non-metric rack, but I did. Well, that's kind of a frightening discovery. My 10mm is missing, and it was not missing a little while ago. I'm one of those few people that keeps his 10mm available, and I think the car might have eaten it. And you know I'll never find it, which means you gotta wonder, is it in the turbo, is it in the intercooler, is it in the exhaust port? Maybe it's sitting in the intake port of the 4.8. Not a good development. Most dubious. That is a very negative development. Right. Yeah, we're not going to get this out of here tonight, guys, but what we are going to do is we're going to go back up the top side, and we're going to finish up the top side. Oh, we got one more thing to do. Take a look at that O2 sensor real quick, because I'm quite curious. Yeah, that's not cool, man. Where's my 10? It's very worrisome, actually. Oh my goodness, some of the places they put zip ties out on here. Not easy to get to. Those $300 O2 sensors right here. Very curious what it's going to look like on, I mean, I guess nothing, but it doesn't work anymore ever since that backfire. That's not good. See if you guys can hear this. What does $300 sound like? It sounds like that was a backfire. Yeah, that's a definite bummer. Alrighty. I gotta put this thing back over here where we can get some power. I'm sure sure she's eating up the... Yeah, and those hollies, they're calibrated, supposedly. So they're a whole lot more money than what they ought to be. If I knew everything about holly at the time that I bought this that I know now, I would not have bought it. And if I had known for sure I was going to go to LS, I probably would have just stuck with a stock computer and just ran HP tuners because it works great. All right, coming down. All right, let me check chat. We're going to be wrapping this up pretty soon. I'd say probably within about 15. Let me double check the time here real quick. Yeah, I need to wrap this up within 20 minutes because I've got a 25 minute drive back to town. Need to get shower and all that good stuff before we go out. So thankfully the rain quit, the temperatures are coming back up. It's nice out. So maybe we'll get a little bit of car action in after all. I really need to do like, well, you know what? I need the light more than I need the battery, and it's actually surprisingly holding up at 82% when I checked it. So I guess I'll move this back over here. I say what we should do right now is grab this intake off this engine, and then we'll call it quits for this show. Maybe we can leave that dipstick in. I know I'm forgetting a ground. There's this one that goes to the engine, but I think we'll take that 10 out right there and we'll just worry, because I'm going to need it's not going back on. Oh, thank goodness. I found my 10. I was really getting worried about that. Oh, no. Well, I'll have to get those back later. I dropped some washers for this ground. I feel like I'm missing a block ground. I know I'm missing a ground somewhere. Oh, I know, I took it off already. Never mind. Alright, so there's our starter control wiring. Good there. Vacuum line. Yeah, we're looking pretty good here. Transmission cooling lines. Alright, so we just got to figure out the intake. Valve covers probably need to come off. Maybe not. Let's leave them on and see what happens. All right. That's odd. Where are the washers that are on these? There's one. I feel like I'm missing a washer here somewhere. All right, well, we'll figure it out. Let me think about how we're going to get some leverage here. I don't really want to gall up my heads. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not going to end up having to take off this dadgum valve cover either. Well, I feel like, I think the valve covers are grabbing us, so we're going to go ahead and knock those off real quick. I think that's what's holding us up. And I seem to be missing my bit for the power driver, my 3/8 inch bit for these. All right, that should be enough. Man, she doesn't want to come off. Am I missing something? Am I forgetting a bolt here or what? I don't think so. Very strange. I've never had RTV hold that good though. That's like surprisingly held on there strongly. I've got to be forgetting something here. I don't know. There we go. Man, that was some good RTV right there. I mean, that stuff is holding. Alrighty, she's off. She's off to the races, boys. Well, that sucks, man. This thing is just in such great shape. It really just kills me. I never would have thought that we'd be looking at doing this, you know? Certainly not with just a very little bit of driving, but this thing is just like brand new inside. Because, well, it is brand new. So all we have left to do I appreciate you watching. I hate that I've just, you know, things have been kind of screwed up here in the last few years for me, but you know, we're trying to win the war anyway. Just I keep going back to that damn hurricane, but the hurricane just completely changed everything, and but yet I still have this property, so go figure on that one. But it definitely put, if nothing else, it put the brakes on all these projects, and also having the RV made a big difference because we got out and we saw things. And I've got to tell you, I haven't had an RV since the first of the year, and it's driving me nuts. There's so many things I want to go do, But I know that once I get one, you know, these projects will slow down. That's one of the reasons, while I don't have one, that I am doing this. The other is that I've been feeling better this year than I have in a long while due to dietary changes mostly. Um, and while I'm feeling good, I'm gonna get the stuff done. And also because I need to, you know, decide what the heck I'm gonna do with this property. And if my projects are done, it gives me more options to sell it if I decide to do that. Although right now I'm kind of leaning towards not, so I guess I'll be hanging on to it. Man, it's a shame that I got somewhere to be, because I could rip this transmission out of here pretty quick. But I know that what seems like it's pretty quick when you're wrenching on a car can be 2 hours. So, I mean, there's just no way it's going to come out. So I'm going to come back up here tomorrow. Probably come up here in the afternoon tomorrow. So you guys, if and I don't know the time, I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to kind of play it by ear. I've got to go work on a ceiling at another house, and I really should have done it today. So I have to do it tomorrow. And it's a question of, do I want to do that in the morning and then come up here, or vice versa? I want to drive the 49 around tomorrow again, so most likely I'll come up here in the afternoon with it and, you know, bring it back and leave it up here tomorrow. So probably tomorrow around 3 Central or so is what I would think when I'll be back up here. And I think we can have this thing out of here and everything, have the engine out, maybe even drop the other engine in place just to test fit it, possibly tomorrow, but definitely by middle of the week we'll have that other engine in there. And just to show you, the other engine's ready to drop in. Now, I don't know for sure that these mounts are going to work because they're sold as an S10 mount, but they sure look a lot like they would work. So I guess we'll just have to see what happens, because, you know, we could drop it in place with the engine stand, but if it won't go to the clamshells, then I guess we won't be able to quote unquote mount it. Let's see what you guys are saying there. Yeah, this thing's, you know, this happened at a shop. They did apologize for it and offered to fix it. But basically they had a lift that was crooked. And so every time the car would touch down, it would touch with one side of the car first and then the other. And as it compressed the suspension, it slid the car over and over and over until it was against the gusset on the lift. But other than that, she's really held up great. I mean, it's dirty. It's been sitting in the shop for the last 3 years unwashed, but it's, you know, all that work that I did on it in this area is holding up pretty decent. So pretty happy with that. Yes, my plan right now on the cam, I'm just trying to decide what I want to go with. I've been watching a few, I hate how zoomed in this is. I'm like right, hey guys, my plan is to follow some other builds out there, and I'm extremely interested in the people that have made 8-second passes on a 4.8. So I'm kind of tending towards what they've done. I'm not planning to go 8s because this car, I don't think it'll ever have a cage in it. And I don't want to die either. So that means I'm not going to be going and running 8s at the track. But I would like to have something that's making 900 at the crank. I think that would be a pretty good blast. So the guy that I saw, he was making 1,050 horsepower, and he had a Summit Stage 4 cam in it. So most people are running a Stage 1 or Stage 2, and I guess there's a bunch of different companies making similar cams with that name. So there's Stage 1 from, there's a sloppy one from Elgin, there's the Summit Stage 2, they're very similar. I think the Summit cam has a wider lobe separator, and maybe I think that has a 113. But one thing that I do want to have with this car, even at the cost of a little bit of power, 2 things really. I've always wanted to do a high revving engine, and I haven't ever done that. I've always done torque, And it's worked well, but I like the idea of high revving because I find it easier to launch than a high torque engine. Keep the power down. And then on the other end, it scares the living shit out of you. So to me, that sounds like a win-win. And the second thing is that this car, when it's cold and it would start up, it would have a decent little load for about the first minute. And then it would go away and it sounded very stock. And I liked that at the time. But now, I want to have a little bit more. I'm not looking for an all-out, for show load. But I would like to retain that slightly rough idle even when it's warmed up. So I'm staying away from, 114 and above load separation. I want to be 112, 113 and enough duration that it has a little bit of a chop. It doesn't have to be much, just enough to, you start it up and it sounds cool. Because I know that with turbo setups, it's more important to have the cam right, and it doesn't need to have that overlap, and it doesn't have to load. And in fact, it's probably going to hurt the performance to a certain degree. So I got to wash my hands here real quick. Got me nuts holding my phone. So let's see. I got to get my tub of towels. These things are great, guys. If you don't have any tub of towels, really good for just. I usually reuse them, like one time. So I'll take a new one out and clean my hands up so I'm not contaminating everything else I'm touching in the car. And then I'll roll it up, put it back in the top, snap the lid down on it, and then, I'll get a second use out of it before I have to pull another one out. Pretty nice. But I've had 3 or 4 of these now, and I definitely like them. I think they came from Amazon, but anyway, I bought another one. I'll try to find it real quick, tell you what it is so you don't make the same mistake I did and buy one. I don't see it, but it's red. It's a yellow container with a red lid, I believe. And this is the most amazing thing since sliced bread, and they were horrible. Expensive too, and horrible. All right. So, see, nice and dirty rag. Hands aren't such a mess. All right. See, if I didn't have a running car, I'd have no reason to leave. But now that I've got the 49 sitting at the house waiting to go out tonight, we're going to have to cut this project off. So, it is what it is. Yeah. This is bittersweet, I'm happy that we're making progress to the new thing, but it's so very depressing to know, where we've been. But this setup to me, and I know some of you will never understand it, and a lot of you will absolutely get it. If you've been following me all these years, this car has just played such hardball. I'm just tired of the setup. I'm tired of, it's kind of like, it's like a divorce house, You could have a nice house, you could have a family there, but if you go through a divorce, it doesn't matter how nice that house is. If you keep the house and the other person goes, and it's not the same. That's kind of like this. We've had a nasty court battle, like big time. And she's taken a lot. She's gotten the house and the car and the TV and all that good stuff. And this is, I don't know, this is not her, but it is her. I can't go back to her. So we've got to get rid of it. We've got to move on to the new girl. And the new girl, maybe, is going to be awesome. And she's sitting right there waiting. She's waiting to do things. Let's just put it that way. All right, I got to check the chat real quick. I'm going to wrap this bad boy up. 2 hours 19, this will be my record. Yeah, 5:30, see, I got 30 minutes to get home, and it'll be 6, I gotta get ready, we gotta go out to dinner, we gotta meet up with some car people, so yeah, I gotta get out of here. Double checking the chat one more time. Yeah, every cam is a boost cam. Yeah, I'm not going to go too crazy on the cam, but it's fun to think about it. It's probably going to be one of the stage 2 cams that are out there. They seem to have a little bit of a choppier idle than this thing, so I don't have to feel like I've got a stock engine anymore. I don't care. I want to go. I want show and go this time. All right, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. Sorry we didn't get it out, but we're very close. And really, if I had another hour to spend here, we would have this bad boy out for sure. But keep your eye on the videos. Talk to you guys later.